Hi everyone, it's me Joe, and today's podcast is with the incredible founder of Levitex, James. Now, I've been looking for a cure or some assistance with my insomnia now for some time, and it's been an absolute nightmare to try and find something that really works and stops me waking up every couple of hours. And I'm very open about the fact that I've been taking melatonin. I did a few videos on my channel about that, if you guys remember, but sleep has been something that's availed me. I found out about Levitex when I was scrolling through TikTok, and me and my friend were chatting about like the incredible mattresses we tried over the years and what they were meant to be doing, like the Tempur-Pedic stuff. And I used to be an ambassador for a mattress brand. They didn't really help. So I thought, maybe I need to reach out to Levitex and see what they're about. And to my surprise, this was a game changer. Now, I interviewed James a couple of times. The first interview that we did was almost like an introduction, so I don't really want to play it as an interview. We did a follow-up interview where I spoke about my progress and how my family members had loved trying out the mattresses too, because I got some for my family. And this time is going to be the final interview with James, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hello.
Raya, how are you?
I'm doing so well, thank you. How are you?
That's a great start to a conversation.
So tell me about the brand. How did you start everything?
So I've always worked in making and manufacturing lying surfaces, and way back in 2012, two neurophysios approached me. They worked in a rehab centre for people with brain injuries, conditions like Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. And I developed a sleep system to position the patients in complex neurology who can't move themselves. And it occurred to me very, very quickly that people didn't really understand what they were lying on and the impact that it was having. And there was a bit of a light bulb moment that said, we position patients in a certain way, and we all recognise how to sit correctly, which I'm not doing now, neither are you, how we stand correctly. But none of us really consider how to lie correctly. And that's actually probably the most important time. So Levitex was just born from lived experience of seeing some of the most horrific patient body shape deformities that probably weren't necessary, and an understanding that if you don't sleep and you wake up in pain, you're going to feel like rubbish. And so that pain, mood and sleep play is really our focus. If we can reduce the amount of disturbance that you have when you sleep, then you might get, instead of 4 hours unbroken, 5. And if you're struggling with sleep for any multitude of reasons, we work with elite sports professionals, Olympians, all the way through to, like I say, patients that have no capacity. They all sleep and they all have a spine, and so we're confident we can do something about it. Here we are.
Yes. So I got sent your mattress and your pillow, and you taught me through the process of how you really align yourself when you sleep. And I sleep on my side, and what I was doing, and I think what I was suffering with, was the pillow wasn't supporting my neck. And what your products are so different is like the density of the product is different, so you get that support, but you have to go through the system of your website to find out your sleep position, and then you have to go through your height. So how does that all work? Is there like a neutral that everyone has to reach?
Well, there's I try and use common sense only, because I think so many companies in this space have muddied that messaging and promised a perfect night's sleep. I'm sure before you met me, you tried all different sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Yeah.
Actually, it's that kind of, you go into a bed shop or wherever you buy your pillows from, a supermarket, and you give it a squeeze and go, that feels comfortable. It's like, that's not really a good marker for success. The principle of a lying surface in complex neurology is that it should have the optimal immersion. So you described its density, how much it sinks. That's thing one. And of course, if you remember, I gave you a specific size because you and I may not be the same shape and size. We might not wear the same shoes nor glasses, clearly. So how can we wear the same size pillow? It was the obvious thing to me. And the principle is we can't control what happens through the night. We're asleep. But we can control the positions we fall asleep in, and we can control to a degree the comfort that we're in based on what we lie on. So if you lie in a provocative posture, twisted like a pretzel on a bowl of porridge, you'll definitely get with more back pain than with the work that we do. That's for sure.
Right, and what I was struggling with is I've got chronic insomnia, and my audience have been used to me ranting about this for ages. And what I noticed is when I would walk, and I suffered a foot injury a year and a half ago that I'm still sort of recovering from. Everything within my hip area was really struggling. Like I was finding it very difficult, and where I was sleeping on my side, it was almost like my feet were sort of becoming buckled, and you were saying you have to use a pillow almost to support your feet. So not only do you use the pillow to support your neck at the right size, but also within your knees. So how does that work?
Well, I think the easiest way to address the two postures that I only recommend, because I really only recommend two, and definitely not stomach sleeping. And so I think just quick caveat is a lot of stomach sleepers, particularly insomniacs who stomach sleep, are so desperate for sleep that they're not prepared to do anything different in terms of the position or the associations of sleep, which position is. So you fall asleep in that familiar position and you turn your lights off, you brush your teeth, you kiss your partner, whatever that routine looks like, and the brain goes, I recognise this is time for bed. But what I say to every single stomach sleeper I've ever met is that 50% of the world's population that slept on their stomach and went to the doctors to find out they were pregnant suddenly managed to get onto their left side because the doctor told them they were pregnant. So the principle of can't should be changed by it's a habit, it's a neural pathway. When you fall asleep, you do A, B, C, D, and then you fall asleep. So like all habits, they take a bit of time to change. But if everybody in your audience recognises that when you sit down on a chair, it should be, as if your granny was screaming at you at the Christmas lunch table whilst your face is in the turkey, right? So a good seated posture looks like this. And if you took that same seated posture and turned yourself onto your side, gravity would pull that top leg down, affecting what's going on with your hips. You mentioned hips before, but equally it would drop the head or the ear closer to the shoulder or closer to the mattress, which should make you have a strain on your neck. But also, pillows are not designed for the neck, actually. They're designed to support the weight of the head, which is 4 to 6 kilos. So it's not about the height or the bouncy things that are promised or whatever. It's what happens at the end. So when your head's lay on it, if 5 minutes later it's no longer in a neutral position, then your neck, then that's not the right pillow. So lying on your side, just like you would sit at the Christmas dinner table, and standing up, if you think about lying on your back, if you were to be a soldier at Buckingham Palace, you'd have your shoulders, hips, knees and ankles all aligned. And if you spent the whole day standing on your feet, you'd bend your knees a bit to avoid some of that stiffness. That same position is true of on your back. So stick a pillow underneath your knees, slightly tilt your pelvis, and make a thinner pillow. So you want a pillow that's the distance between the back of your head to the mattress versus on your side would be the back of, the tip of the ear to the tip of the shoulder. So it's horses for courses. It's personal. It should be not one size fits all. Otherwise, we'd have, all of us with Nike Air Jordans would have a size 4. It doesn't work. So that's it. It has to be common sensible. If we globally recognise daytime postural sets of sitting and standing, you can sue your boss if you don't have an ergonomic chair. So why does your boss allow you to sleep on your stomach? Because you spend twice as long in bed as you do working.
Absolutely. I remember last time we spoke, you were talking about how you were noticing when patients were completely immobile in some of the beds in hospitals, and when you started to align their body in a position of neutral, their body started to unfold, which they didn't have like cognitive abilities to do on themselves. So what was that process like doing it to that level?
Again, it's the same for all of us. It's just like I say, the spectrum for our work is elite sport all the way through to complex neurology, and the intervention is largely the same. As humans, if you imagine we're like the meat in the middle of a sandwich, and you've got gravity as one layer of bread, and you've got your contact surface, whatever you're underneath as your other. So then gravity continues to press the meat down through the night. If you're lying on something, or you're sitting on something, or standing on something that's not stable, so the metaphor would be a gym ball for sitting, or a bar stool, wet sand hopping on one leg for standing stability. And the same is true of lying. In all those situations, if your body doesn't access its basic support, doesn't feel supported, then you have to hold on for dear life. So you're on a couch, so you'll probably put your hand on one of your hands will go on the couch for a period of time. You might cross your legs a little bit. I'm sat actually on a stool. I'm working from home today, so I'll definitely be leaning and slouching more because I've got nowhere to land. I'm in mid-air here, so this gives me the stability. So that's the principle. That's how it works. That's why it works universally. If you go to sleep in a neutral posture, which I'm hoping you're going to tell me you've done,
Yes.
on a surface that supports you properly, then a neutral spine, logically, versus a twisted pretzel, should probably hurt less in the morning. So we didn't go any clinical. I wasn't talking with any ridiculous language. Don't twist your neck like a wally, and you won't hurt in the morning. That was as deep as we went, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be accessible. So go on. Hit me, or is it too soon to be told? Am I meant to wait here anxiously, worried?
No.
Not
So
slept for 6 months.
I've been using the products for a couple of months now, and I've had such a change in the way I've slept. Like, I used to go on melatonin. You were talking about all like the wives' tales, I think, last time, and I used to boil banana skins to try and get magnesium to put me into like a sleepy state, and all night long. And I had a soft Tempur-Pedic, very, 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 very expensive mattress, and I'd be tossing from one side to the other, and my hips would be completely in pain by the morning. My neck would always be in pain. And when I first started to adjust to the pillow, because at first I was like, what am I feeling here? Because it was putting me in the right position where my neck was straight when I went to sleep. But it was different, because normally I'd sit up in bed and I'd like read a book, or I'd be on my laptop. So it really encouraged me to change my sleep hygiene. And when I started to use that pillow for sleep, and I started to use that bed and that mattress for sleep, it just changed everything. I've been getting literally 80% improvement overall. And when I was talking to you last time, I was talking to you about like going to the doctor, and they recommend you go on that sleep hygiene app. And I was being rated at 5% to 15% sleep quality. That's how bad my sleep was before. So I wanted to say thank you for working with me and allowing me to try your products, because I have never had anything that's made such a difference. And my mum is also a bad sleeper. She bought one too, because she's now had a massive, she's had a massive improvement. She was getting arthritis in her hip, and since she's got the mattress, she's not had any of the hip problems since I've forwarded the advice with the pillow between the knees and ankles, that she's got another pillow that supports her neck from the range. So different size to me, but thank you from my family.
Has it helped you, Mark?
Immensely. She used to have pain every day, and the pain is not there anymore.
I'm a little bit annoyed that you bought something, but I'm equally happy that it did its thing. Arthritis hits us mostly when we're like in our 50s.
Yeah.
So what's the really obvious takeaway from our relationship? Your spine has joints and ligaments and muscles holding on for dear life to do all the crazy things we do with it. The way you pick up your phone, hold it to your ear, spend hours and hours sat at chairs, cars, whatever, which it wasn't really designed for. But you have this beautiful window of time where you don't need to continue really challenging those structures that are holding on for dear life, your neck, around your hips. And so if it makes common sense logic to people that if you lie in a neutral position, whether on your back or your side, definitely not your front, and you support your spine, you support your neck, you support your body in the way that it's designed. If you've always woken up in pain, and whilst challenged to get to sleep was obviously why we met in the beginning.
Yeah.
We try to liberate people who struggle with sleep disorders, sleep disruption, particularly insomnia, because what we find often is there's a link to pain, and there's always a link to mental health. And what very often happens with, we call them painers, or people suffering with insomnia, is there's very little validation, because no one really is able to tell you what's the matter. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to tell you what the matter is, and it's not for me to be intrusive. I don't need to be. Your mum and you are totally different people on all different scales, right? Physiology, age, shape, size, everything. But yet the intervention of how you lie, which I don't own, I own Levitex. Sleep posture is for the world to scream about, but it can have an impact for all of us. So when you meet an insomniac like yourself, it's not like, here's the magic tablet that's going to save all your problems. No, it doesn't exist, because whatever the reason for your poor sleep, pain, mood, whatever it could have been, there was a starter for 10, right? There's a place that it started, and true of everyone. Rather than trying to solve all your nightly problems, let's address the one thing you can control, going to sleep, on the surface that you can control, and hoping that the sleep that you do get is a better quality or indeed longer, rather than all the other things that you have to do, which, if aren't successful, must make you feel pretty hopeless, right? Like,
Oh God, yeah.
Because even your face looks different. Like, you don't, and forgive me for saying, but so I hope it's a backhanded compliment. I remember when we first met, your face was more, there was more tension in your face, for sure. You seem more relaxed, less hypervigilant, more like just cool and calm and seemingly at peace. And I hope I'm not over-egging the cake, but
no, it's true.
I remember how much movement there was in the first session, because fundamentally you were in pain.
Oh, so much pain. And it was a frustration with myself that because I was more frustrated with the fact that I couldn't sleep than the fact I couldn't sleep. And I was like, it was almost like a tension that I was like, oh my God, I still can't sleep. But it felt like I was failing myself. But
it's so out of your control, and it makes the thing hopeless. And actually, a lot of people that we work with are petrified of sleep. They don't look for it's like, it's night time. That means in 3 hours I'm gonna have to go upstairs and stare at the ceiling. You stare at a ceiling for 7 years of your life on average.
Really?
It's bonkers. Yeah. And this is the principle. I'd like to think, if I was to ask your mum and you and anyone I've ever worked with, there's only one question to ask: are you lying comfortably? Because if you're not, that means like do what you do normally for awake for 10 minutes, and if after 10 minutes you're like, shit, my neck's killing, you ain't lying comfortably. It's the only question to ask. Comfort reduces tension, reduces pain. End of.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's been amazing. I think the biggest thing for me as well, I had such broken sleep where I would consistently wake up almost every hour. And now I don't. Sometimes I do wake up like 5 hours in, but that quality of sleep is so improved that's what's made the bigger difference for me, I think, because it was like, it just solved the problem. And I also feel like, like this is really weird, but like when I was on my previous Tempur-Pedic mattress, I was like almost like folding inwards like that. I can't really describe it. And the mattress,
it's the same as a slouch.
Yeah.
When you slouch, right, you're basically giving yourself a third point of contact. It's like if we were tripods, we wouldn't have back pain. But we're not, and so it makes perfect sense. What you're trying to do was feel that stability, or get yourself into a posture that had the least amount of tension with the most stability, and that's what you did. So you weren't doing anything wrong. But what's pleasing to me is actually that you say sleep disturbance is absolutely the metric for anyone, especially someone suffering with insomnia. Don't allocate how long it took to get to sleep, because my products won't help intrusive thoughts. But it's kind of flipping the thing on its head and going, when I used to wake up with broken sleep every 3 hours, because I thought it was anxiety. I wake up and straight in that consciousness is all those thoughts, and then you're not getting back to sleep. Actually, rather than deal with those thoughts and don't dismiss them, just park them or own them and go, right, if I stay asleep for longer, don't have disruption. If last night was 3 hours and tonight was 4 or 5, in the morning, I'm going to be able to fight better than I was yesterday. It's just a fact. More sleep is better for you. So we're not dealing with anxiety. We're not dealing with mental health. We're not claiming to. I'm no doctor, but I've got, some of the mental health stuff that we've seen over the years is frightening. But if you can just have some ownership back in your life, I think that's one of the worrying things, isn't it? I mean, I've not suffered it. I've not had neck pain for forever. But in terms of mental health, I've been quite fortunate. But if that pain, mood, sleep relationship exists and your waking symptoms are always worse in the morning, you've pretty much guaranteed a crap day every night you sleep poorly. Like, as in physically, how you lie, what you lie on. It's guaranteed. If you wake up in pain, that was something happened between when you fell asleep and when you wake up. So deal with that. Wake up in less pain. Fight your day better. Maybe fall asleep earlier because you're not in so much pain and such an awful mood because you woke up without neck pain for a day. Has it had an impact sort of as a byproduct for you? I don't know. I don't want to over-egg it.
Yeah, it's so different. And I think, like, as well, where I was sleeping before, I was going to bed at like 1 in the morning because I was anticipating not being able to go to bed. I now have a completely different routine. I go to bed at like 9. It's bizarre. It's like, and I've never been able to do that before in my life because I would always be so awake for that. Like, I dread between 9 and midnight, those 3 hours, because I'll be like, I will be standing, like, not being able to go to sleep. And now I've got like a routine, which is, and I think that was more like the sort of like the the circle chasing itself. It's like I wanted more routine in my life, but I couldn't find the routine because I wasn't able to sleep. And when I wasn't able to sleep, I would be trying to catch up on myself if I could have a nap in the day, and then I wouldn't be able to get back into a cycle. So when I'd be booked to work overseas, I'd be working on empty in a different time zone, and I wouldn't be able to catch up. And it's been so profound. And now when I go to hotels, I'm like, I have to bring this pillow with me because I can't sleep in the stupid hotel.
This is why I'm always insistent on people trying our products first, and this is sort of obviously on a much bigger scale from the perspective of you scream the noise of your experience, but so many people that suffer with insomnia or chronic painers, which is nearly everyone who's an adult, unfortunately at the moment, will buy anything that promises a perfect night's sleep, and it will normally work for like 3 days. Amazing, when I shove lavender at my arse, suddenly I can sleep better, but 4 days
sellotape your mouth shut. Have you seen those ones?
Yeah, exactly, right. It can't be that way. That's a placebo. Any change might, stay in a hotel, it was lovely. Of course it was. You weren't with your revolting children. You were on holiday with your partner or whatever. So it's owning the reality and going, right, this period is a time for recovery and I'm going to make the absolute most. I'm buzzing that you have. Really, and I would have been grateful if you hadn't, as in, I'm grateful for the honest feedback. If it hadn't have worked, there would have been a reason. We would have done something about it. We can all sleep a bit better.
Sure.
Not necessarily perfectly, that's for sure.
So where can we buy these wonderful products?
So we have, on the Wibbly Wobbly Woo, we have a website, levitex.co.uk. If people are in the UK, in terms of your audience, we always do, or we very often do flash sales on TikTok. Again, one of the things, and our channel is very much, and it's Levitex obviously, is all around, we can't all afford a new mattress and a new pillow, we might all want one, but we can all afford a couple of pillows from the supermarket and we can do something with them. So every day we put a video on showing you how to improve your sleep. It doesn't cost you anything. You can improve your sleep without Levitex, that is for sure. I think I told you how to sleep before you received the products. Do I remember correctly? I had a few days before.
Yeah, so I was testing out like sleeping with the pillow between my legs and adjusting the pillows that I did have, because I had like a big poofy one and like a sort of firm one, which didn't. Yeah. It was inconsistent.
yeah, nice way. Not diplomatic.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Everyone can access better sleep posture. It doesn't have to be with Levitex. I don't own sleep posture, but those tips, hopefully share them. If people like them, just share them. I just want people to sleep. Like your experience, right?
Yeah.
How many insomniacs are on your channel? How many people suffer? And you didn't need to. Or as much. Like, we didn't discuss anything personal, I don't remember, as in anything that would be required in terms of a consultation was nothing more than how you lie, what you lie on. The rest of it is semantic, is the dressing. So
I want to get my sister one now. I'm going to get my sister on one because she's the last one in the family with the bad neck to cure.
But get to sleep. If you send her the guidance, send everyone the guidance, dude. Like, please, anyone who wants to see that guidance, we are a non-sleeping, not pain-free and very poor mental health country. Manchester's the worst at the moment, the very worst sleep city. So yeah.
Well, thank you again for your time today, and I will be in touch. Thank you. Well, have a lovely rest of your day. I need to get my sister one, because I'm not going to include this in the recording, but my sister is 5'1".
Yeah.
So what size do I need to get her?
A small, but would you please send an email to Liv or Carolina and let me get you a code out. Please don't buy full price.
Are you sure?
Really, really awkward. Yeah. Let me at least get you a code out, and then we both sleep tonight.
Thank you. You are so sweet. Thank you. Have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you for being on my channel.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. You too. Bye.